Hey, welcome to Necrocinema X Mortis. It's me, JasonzSon, here off of Insidious.
So we came in this bitch tonight to murder things. And we gon' leave this bitch tonight a murder scene. In black from head to toe, we murder clean. Yeah, you know the name of the clique, the murder team. What's up? Slow down, son, you killing them. Slow down, son, you killing them.
I'm a little drunk. I'll let you know what I thought of the movie. First of all, if you thought this was a color movie, you are gullible as fuck, or you ain't seen the movie. There's 3 colors in this movie: brown, red, and blue. That's it. So when red is on the screen, there's one set of reality. There's the brown, that's real life, that's where you and I live. You see I'm wearing tan right now, that would be brown. There's blue, that is the exorcist, the lady that comes and checks out the house. That you can think poltergeist, think that little old lady, that's blue. Then there's red, think Sixth Sense, think Pazuzu and the Exorcist, think the actual poltergeist and the poltergeist, that's blue. That's the actual ghosts. Everything in the house is blue when they're around. So there you got the brown is regular, red is when the bad guys are around, blue is when the good guys are around. There is green. I don't want to mislead you, there is green in this movie, but there is no yellow. Green is part of blue as far as this movie is concerned. There is no yellow. There's no yellow in real life, but green is not a part of the spectrum as far as this movie is concerned. Green is part of blue. So, what do I think of the movie? Well, basically the movie is about the kid is able to go into other worlds in his sleep. Think basically when a regular person would have sleepwalking, night terrors, that type of shit. That's when this kid is out wandering the multiverse. But when he's wandering the multiverse, he thinks it's a dream. You know, he's a fucking kid. That's when his body's open to be possessed. And that's basically the premise of the movie. The kid is out on his little vacation. He thinks he's in a dream until he gets captured. His body's open to be possessed. A bunch of demons, ghosts, what have you, are trying to possess his body. The father, whom he inherited the body from, is sent to rescue him with the help of the mother and the poltergeist old lady figure who is there to guide him. You know, she's the lady that knows what the fuck she's talking about in every other poltergeist, exorcist, that type of horror movie. She knows what's going on. She's guiding him, but she can't do it. He can, because he's the one with the ability to astral project in this case. So he goes into the realm of the sleep. There is sequel bait. There will be an Insidious 2. It probably will not be directed by James Wan, but it will have the same characters. And if not the same characters, then it will have the same premise, or the sequel premise, in which case I don't want to spoil the ending of the movie, so I'll tell you there will be a sequel premise. So what do I think about the movie? Besides it being black and white, I love the fact that it was in fucking black and white. I love that it was a modern movie in black and white, and you could not fucking tell. It was black, red, blue, and brown. So no, it was not a color movie, but at the same time it was not strictly black and white either. It had an idea what was going on, but at the same time it was just strict in colors. There was no yellow. This hoodie that I was wearing would either be white or brown in the movie. That's fucking awesome. That's definitely some foresight on the planning of the filmmakers. You got the two colors, and then the third non-existent color, which is brown, which is basically a mixture of red and blue anyway. The movie, was I shook? Was I shook at this movie? Was the J to the A to the S-O-N-Z-S-O-N shook at in this movie? It was definitely a scary movie. Definitely agree with anybody who says this movie was creepy, scary, any of that shit. And by the way, let me get this straight about the parents. They give a fuck. I love this in horror movie. I love when they give a fuck. I love when they are not idiots. Like the father, he doesn't believe in the paranormal shit. You know how it is. The father never believes quickly enough. The mother always believes too quickly. The father doesn't believe. At the same time, he wants to make his fucking wife happy. So that's You know, he might not believe in paranormal shit, but he's a fucking husband. You know, that's what husbands do. They want to make their wife happy. So, on the rail, when I left to use the restroom, he was all giving his speech about why is the voice of reason being the bad guy? You know, it's obvious this shit is fake. I'm sorry for I'm wasting y'all time. This shit can't be real. I did this to make my wife happy, but I'm gonna get you the fuck out of here. And I came back from the restroom. It can't, maybe a minute. I'm gonna be real. Maybe I took a minute. Maybe I walked out drunk as fuck. Walked back drunk as fuck. Maybe it took a minute. But by the time he was coming back, it was in the middle of all this shit. Old lady explaining what the fuck happened when he was a kid. Mother, grandmother saying it straight. So he's believing this shit. That was not a long ass time, and I'm gonna be real. At the same time, I knew it was that time in most movies when I went to the restroom. I knew it was that time in most movies when most films would have been they would have been taking a good 30 minutes to be like, explain this shit straight. Explain that this shit is not made up. Explain that even though he thinks it's fake, it's not fake. This movie was like, no, fuck y'all. Y'all know it's real. So the father thinks it's fake. We gonna shove his head up his ass. I don't know what the fuck shoving his head up his ass was, because that's when I was in the restroom. But at the same time, it was quick as a motherfucker right there. And just took this shit. He's like, you don't believe it? Bam! 5 minutes later, he believed the shit out of that motherfucker. So he believed this shit. They explained to him when he was a kid, he had the same problem. And that's why his mother already knows the exorcist lady. She had this exact same problem when he was a kid. So he's like, I. So if my mother says it's straight, it's straight. Alright, so he goes under hypnosis. He goes to get his kid. He brings back his kid. He has this, it's not, I wouldn't say a fight, but it's like, I don't believe in you. 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 That type of fight. With his ghost that fucked with him as a child. Was the movie scary? Fuck yeah. I don't give a fuck it's PG-13. It was compared to Poltergeist and Paranormal Activity. I ain't seen Paranormal Activity, but this was not a shaky cam movie. This was not a found footage movie. This was a movie all on its own. It was not Poltergeist. They did not rip off Poltergeist. They might have used a similar premise, but at the same time, not haunting the house. They found that this kid was not in his body, so it was like, let's find this body that the kid left, and let's take this motherfucking body. So, they was looking for his body, the kid wasn't in the body, and they was about to make the move on the body. So that's not Poltergeist, but at the same time, it's not Exorcist. So it's its own realm, as far as I know. I don't know a movie that did the same shit. There might have been a movie that did the same shit, but at the same time, if there was, I do not know about it. It's a pretty straightforward plot, but at the same time, if you're looking for a scary-ass movie, that type of shit, Miz will be covering horrifying musings of the fourth kind. That's y'all type of movie. This is a movie that I'm not shook of movies. I am never. You will not catch me shook of a movie, but at the same time, drunk. Not shook of movies, but at the same time, I was watching this movie. It was suspenseful, and you do not know what the fuck's gonna happen. The ending did catch me surprised me just because I was drunk. I'm gonna be straight. Standard Exorcist, Poltergeist shit, but at the same time, it did its job. So I got all the imagery across. It was just 3 colors very well. Red, blue, brown, very well. Sixth Sense, and probably borrowed some shit from that. Or at least it did some stuff well that Sixth Sense also did well. It was definitely borrowing from Signs. I'm trying to remember what I had to say about Signs. I'm thinking it wasn't water, but at the same time, it was, the baby monitors. They borrowed the baby monitors from Signs, because no one ever used a baby monitor as a way to touch extraterrestrial shit before. It's like, there's no explanation why the baby monitor was able to pick up shit, but at the same time, when the ghosts and motherfuckers was talking, the baby monitors picked that shit straight up. Straight up, the baby monitors picked that shit up. So that shit was from Signs. There's a little bit from Sixth Sense, a little bit from Signs, but I wouldn't say it's Shyamalan inspired. Like, Shyamalan might have picked up some ideas, and James Wan and whoever else was involved ran with the shit. I don't think they was watching signs and be like, oh, that's the shit I want to use. They was watching Sixth Sense and be like, that's the shit I want to use. But at the same time, they definitely borrowed some shit from those Shyamalan movies. While at the same time, you know, this is James Wan. He made his own shit. So, I'm not a huge fan of Saw. I enjoyed Saw. I enjoyed Saw 2. I did not see Saw 3. I did not see 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 20, 25, 30. I did not see all that shit, but at the same time, I enjoyed the first couple Saw movies. Big up James Wan. Big up Insidious. You know, it was definitely lived up to the premise for the boy being haunted instead of the building. You know, I was wondering how they was going to do that. They pulled it off in a semi-believable way. So, this is Necrocinema X Mortis. Bigging up Insidious. I'm going to let y'all slide for this. Now, let's see something a little more action-filled, a little more entertaining. This wasn't The Haunting. This wasn't a slasher flick, but at the same time, it did its job. Although, it could have been more action-filled.
We came in this bitch tonight to murder things. And we gon' leave this bitch tonight a murder scene. In black from head to toe, we murder clean. Yeah, you know the name of the clique, the murder team. What's up? Slow down, son, you killing me.
I had some Incredible Hulk motherfucker. That's right, that's how we say his name now. Incredible Hulk motherfucker.